Toilet porte. Welcome back to the next video of the Volksnavi course. So now we have listening part 3.1, the next vocab video. And you probably already recognize the sentence I put on the title slide, you are beloved to me. So you will see a lot of familiar vocab today that you have already seen in the grammar video. As always, unit go. Let's listen. I will first give you the first set of words, 5 nouns, and I will read each word 3 times. You can of course listen back to it again, so just go back in the video. And your task is, as always, to try to find these words in the dictionary. So try to look up the sounds you hear and see if you can find a translation for them. Same note as always, my pronunciation is of course not perfect. I'm not a native speaker, as no one is, but I'm doing my best to pronounce everything as accurate as possible. But let's just start with the first word, our first noun. Ikran. 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 That was the first word. Feel free to stop the video here and try to find a dictionary, although I think this one is very simple and you probably don't have to find it in the dictionary. But the next one is pook. 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 That was word number 2. Again, feel free to pause the video and try to find it in the dictionary. The next word is Litvia. 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 And the next word is upare. 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 And the last word of the first set is siulang. 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 Those were the first 5 words, all nouns. Let's look at them. First, we had ikran, which means Benji, but usually we don't really translate, we just say ikran even in the English version. I think I already told you this for the Nantang last episode. But now I will also actually start to not translate these anymore because, as I said, in the community you will barely see anyone translating ikran as Benji or Nantang as Webberwolf. We usually just, even in English, say ikran and Nantang. Next we had book, and you hear they sound very similar. And the reason is that this is a loan word. The Navi don't write, as far as we know. At least the clans that we have seen so far do not write. So they learned this concept from the Sky people, and therefore the word book is just something that they heard from the English book and then got it into their language. Next we have Litvia, language. Then we had upare, message. And lastly we had siulang, flower. Let's listen to the next set, and this is our longest set for today with 8 words incomplete, and those are all intransitive verbs. Let's start with the first word. Slew. 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 Word number 2. Sunu. 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 Word number 3. Smon. 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 Word number 4. Iraiosi. 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 Word number 5. Kalpesi. Kaltesi. Kaltesi. Word number 6. Pamrelsi. 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 Word number 7. Tool. 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 And the last word, Zranten. 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 Those were our 8 intransitive verbs. Let's look at them. First we had slew, to become. We already talked about that one briefly, very briefly. I think in the second grammar video, when we talked about LMT, and we also talked very briefly about lu, to be, and now we have slew, to become. Then the next bunch you actually, I think, all knew already from the grammar video. So we have sunu, to be likable. Often in English, in sentences, then it gets translated as to like. Smon, to be known. Iraiosi, to thank. Kaltesi, to greet. Pamrelsi, to write. Tool, to run, there's actually a new one. And Zranten, to be important. So those are our intransitive verbs. Next, I have 3 more verbs for you, and those are transitive verbs. The first one is ting. 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 The second one is fpe. 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 And the last one is kar. 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 This was very quick. As always, you can of course go back into the video and just re-listen to it again until you can find the words in the dictionary. Let's look at our transitive verbs. First, we had ting, to give. Then we had fpe, to send. And lastly, we had kar, to teach. Only one more set, namely adjectives. And 3 of them you also already know because they were in the grammar video. But let's go through them step by step. The first one is jaune. 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 The second one is mal. 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 Number 3 is lom. 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 And the last word of today is o. 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 That one was new, but let's look at all the adjectives together. First we had jaune, beloved. Then we had mal, trustworthy. Lom, mist. And lastly we had o, exciting or fun. Here's an overview of all our words. These are all the words that we talked about today. And exactly like the last time, we will now go through 30 sentences. I will always read 10 at a time. And your task will again be to write down the sentences you hear and try to translate them. And you can and should look at the word list because obviously I will not expect you to learn these 20 words just from having them heard 4 times now. But The sentences will also sometimes include words that you have learned in the last vocab video, because after a vocab video is done, then for the next chapter, I always expect you to know the vocab from the previous vocab videos. As always, I will read 10 sentences and each sentence 3 times, and then we will look at the sentences before we go on to the next set. Let's start. Numeju ikranur irajosi. Numeju ikranur irajosi. Numeju ikranur irajosi. Sentence number 2. Ting ikranil weru pukit. Ting ikranil weru pukit. Ting ikranil weru pukit. Sentence number 3. Nantang weru upareru pamrelsi. Nantang weru upareru pamrelsi. Nantang weru upareru pamrelsi. Sentence number 4. Nga weru smon. Nga weru smon. Nga weru smon. Sentence number 5. Irajosi po weru. Irajosi po weru. Irajosi po weru. Sentence number 6. This is a very short one. Tool. 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 Sentence number 7. Ikranur po kaltesi. Ikranur po kaltesi. Ikranur po kaltesi. Sentence number 8. The fiati numejuru vel kar. The fiati numejuru vel kar. The fiati numejuru vel kar. Sentence number 9. Tengaru nantangil siulangit. Tengaru nantangil siulangit. Tengaru nantangil siulangit. And the last sentence for this first set. Lumal ikran weru. Lumal ikran weru. Lumal ikran weru. Those were the first 10 sentences. Let's look at them. First we had Numeju ikranur irajosi. The learner thanks the ikran. More literally, the learner does thank to the ikran. You will notice that I only wrote down the nice looking English translation, not the literal translation. Because this is what you will usually see in the community. People will not say literally, oh, the flower is likable to me. People will just say, I like the flower. So while I will from time to time talk about the literal translation, I try to always translate sentences into kinda natural English. Next we had Ting ikranil weru bukit. The ikran gives me a book, or the ikran gives a book to me. Nantang weru upareru pamrelsi. The Nantang writes me a message. Nga weru smon. I know you, or more literally, you are known to me. Irayu si power. She thanks me. Next we had a very short sentence that was just tool, run. And I kind of just threw it in there to remind you that commands are a thing still and you can do them very easily. Then next we had Ikranur pokatesi. He greets the Ikran. Le fiati numeyuru welkar. I teach the learner the language, or I teach the language to the learner. Tingaru nantang is yulangit. The Nantang gives you a flower, or the Nantang gives a flower to you. And lastly, Lumal ikran weru. I trust the ikran, or more literally, the ikran is trustworthy to me. Those were the first 10 sentences, but there are 20 more. Of course, this is a very long video with a lot of sentences. You can also just take a break and come back tomorrow. The other 20 sentences will still be waiting for you here tomorrow. But if you have still enough energy, let's jump right into the next sentences. Sentence number 1. Lom luporu ikran. Lom luporu ikran. Lom luporu ikran. Sentence number 2. Bukit fpe numeyul weru. Bukit fpe numeyul weru. Bukit fpe numeyul weru. Sentence number 3. Nantang ikranur kaltesi. Nantang ikranur kaltesi. Nantang ikranur kaltesi. Sentence number 4. Pukur pamrelsioe. Pukur pamrelsioe. Pukur pamrelsioe. Next sentence. Fpengal upareti numeyuru. Fpengal upareti numeyuru. Fpengal upareti numeyuru. Sentence number 6. Lefia o lueru. Lefia o lueru. Lefia o lueru. Sentence number 7. Mal poru lunumeyu. Mal poru lunumeyu. Mal poru lunumeyu. Sentence number 8. Tranten lefiaweru. Tranten lefiaweru. Tranten lefiaweru. Sentence number 9. Lefia sunuweru. Lefia sunuweru. Lefia sunuweru. And the last sentence for this set. Smon weru puk. Smon weru puk. Smon weru puk. Those were the 10 sentences. Let's look at them. First, we had Lom lupor ikran. She misses the ikran, or the ikran is missed to her. Bukit fbe numeyul weru. The learner sends a book to me. Nantang ikran nur kalt esi. The nantang greets the ikran. Bukur pamresioe. I write a book. Fbengal upareti numeyuru. You send the learner a message. Lefia o luweru. The language is exciting to me. Malporu lunumeyu. The learner is trustworthy or trust-inspiring to him, so he trusts the learner. Tranten lefia weru. The language is important to me. Lefia sunu wer. I like the language, or the language is likable to me. And lastly, smon weru puk. The book is known to me, or I know the book. Almost done, only one set left. Let's jump right into it. First sentence, this one you definitely know already. Ngayaune luweru. Ngayaune luweru. Ngayaune luweru. Sentence number 2. Oe numeyuru kar. Oe numeyuru kar. Oe numeyuru kar. Sentence number 3. Sunu weru siudang. Sunu weru siudang. Sunu weru siudang. Sentence number 4. Puk poru tranten. Puk poru tranten. Puk poru tranten. Sentence number 5. Le fiati polkar ikranur. Le fiati polkar ikranur. Le fiati polkar ikranur. Sentence number 6. Lulom werunga. Lulom werunga. Lulom werunga. Sentence number 7. Pojaune lungaru. Pojaune lungaru. Pojaune lungaru. Sentence number 8. Tuulnantang. 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 Sentence number 9. Po slujaune poru. Po slujaune poru. Po slujaune poru. And the last sentence of the video. Lefia jaune lueru. Lefia jaune lueru. Lefia jaune lueru. Those were our last 10 sentences. Let's look at them. First we had Nga jaune lueru. I love you, or more literally, you are beloved to me. Oe nume yuru kar. I teach the learner. And this is the sentence I already talked about in the grammar video, where I said, if you say I teach someone, that someone is still the receiver. So even though in English it looks like a direct object, we'll treat it like the dative or the indirect object in that way. So this is now an intransitive sentence. Oe does not receive an L ending, and the nume you, the learner, will get the ru ending, because I'm teaching to the learner. The learner is the one receiving the teaching. Sun wears yulang. I like the flower, or more literally, the flower is likable to me. Book poru tsranten. The book is important to him. Le fiati polkar ikranur. She teaches the language to the ikran. I don't know how successful that can be, but I mean, who doesn't want to teach their pet? Next, lulom werunga. I miss you, or more literally, you are missed to me. Poyau nulungar. You love her, or she is beloved to you. Nantang, very simple sentence, because from time to time we have to have some simple sentences in there. The Nantang runs. Pos lujaune poru. He falls in love with her. So here the literal translation is very different from what I wrote in English. So we had lujaune, to be beloved and then to someone. But slujaune then means something like to become beloved to someone. So if you are becoming beloved to someone, then that someone is falling in love with you because you are in the process of becoming beloved to them. So this is a way that you can say that you are falling in love with someone. So po slujaune, she becomes beloved, poru, to him. Of course, in the sentence, by the way, it is ambiguous if it means he falls in love with her, or he falls in love with him, or she falls in love with her, or she falls in love with him. Completely ambiguous. Actually, if it is a he and a she, then better style would be to actually use poan and poe here to make this clear. So there are specific pronouns for he and she. I just used 2 times po because we haven't had poan and poe yet. But yeah, this could mean any combination of he and she. So it could also mean he falls in love with him, and so on and so on. And the very last sentence. Le fia jaune luer. I love the language, or the language is beloved to me. And that was it. Luse baum ngarusrak, ne baum. Do you have questions? Just ask. As always, you can reach me on Discord, via email, or just in the comment section. If you're here for more listening practice, then you can go on to Listening 2.2, where we will look at words that sound very similar to each other and learn to distinguishing them. And here is the link to the full NatWe course playlist. Hi, Yellow Frapo.